Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gallup Racer 2006. My name is KPZ, I'm your host. I hate to say it, it was really disappointing recording this video. It got worse as it went on. So I'm going to do a breeding here. I decided to see what happened when I bred Love Shack. It was a great pedigree. There is a minus back there. But really good turf skills and dirt skills, explosive skill trait, but not a lot of stamina in terms of back-to-back races and a very short distance, just 6 to 8. So I was looking and I'm like, maybe I can make something out of this. So I decided to do this breeding because it promised great riches in the breeding shed. And I saw that outcome and I wasn't totally dissuaded. Got a little bit of inbreeding. So Shady, Sun, and Love Shack, which is the son, or the daughter, pardon me, of Gentle House and Native Love. So 3-star Future, 4-star Smart, Power, and Calm, 5-star Vigor. I was hoping for all 5 stars except for Future, but that did not work out. So, Love Shack, Sun, I'm like, how about Cabana Boy? I know there's a Saturday Night Live joke in there somewhere, I just don't remember what it is. Alright, so let's go look at the Cabana Boy. We're here in the barn. A couple of special abilities. The interval carried over from Native Love. And I'm just like, all right, it can't be terrible, right? It can't be all that bad. Maybe I can get a horse that's equally good on turf and dirt. That was my hope when I bred those two horses together. And as you'll see, it didn't quite work out that way. Wasn't a total loss. Here I see normal general. I'm even more excited because then it's not dirt or turf specific. So I'm like, yeah, let's go race this horse. And between the last video and this video, I probably recorded about 5 hours of gameplay with breeding pairs that just didn't work out the way I hoped that they would. And of course, you're not seeing those videos because I restarted. Went back to the beginning of my save and just did another breeding and saw how that went instead. All right, here in the Lavender Stakes, we are a 0.5 favorite. And so we're going to do our 3-1 exact at a whopping 2.1 to 1 odds. They're expecting us to finish first and Mako's Kid to finish second here in the Lavender Stakes. By the way, I apologize for not having these videos up this weekend. I am maybe in the process of moving. Originally, I was in the process of moving for work, and then they were like, oh, wait a minute, maybe you might not be moving. So, I don't know, last weekend I was up in Cincinnati and moving some stuff up there, trying to get a jump on the move, and now I may have to go back there to get my stuff back. Who knows? So, that's why there weren't any videos, because it's 8 hours from where I live to Cincinnati. So, Friday I was packing the car. Saturday I was driving up there. Sunday I was driving back. And when I got back, I didn't want to do anything, so I didn't make any videos this weekend. All right, we missed out on the revolutions. That's going to be the story of my life. But we've got a lot of power here, and we pull away for an easy victory for Cabana Boy.
We have a winner.
Yep. Easy win. All right, and I was stoked. I'm like, yeah, look at that. He smashed Mako's Kid. We got power left over. That's a really good sign when you get that note in the comments. That means you had a lot more to give. So I thought maybe he's going to have really long distance ability. Because sometimes you never know. You could breed two horses and not think you're going to get a certain ability in terms of like their, the distance they can race and stuff like that, and maybe you will. It's just kind of sometimes really random. All right, here I think we're going to go for the Philadelphia Stakes, Philadelphia something. Alright, never mind. I chose the Clover Stakes instead. Up there at Boston. And at this point, I'm just trying to see what other abilities the horse has. You know, what's his dirt ability, what's his bad turf ability, you know, like a sloppy turf or whatever, what's his ability there? Clockwise, counterclockwise, tight track, what's that stuff all about? And so that's why I don't have any problem racing in these open classification races, especially with a horse that started at an A rating. It's kind of ironic. I don't really want to start with a superstar rating, but on the other hand, unless it's a second or third generation horse, you can't start out in grade 1. I just don't think the abilities are built up in a first generation horse breeding. So that's just my opinion so far in this game. All right, a little bit of overheating here. We're not going to get the revolutions. And at this point, we're just trying to keep that green meter filled all the way up. It was easier to do that with this horse, the green meter filled relatively easily because of our positioning, liking it in the pack or the rear trailing leg. But there were some times where I had to really adjust the up and down because it kept trying to go into the yellow. Here, everybody's going to start running, and we will run ahead of them. And despite everyone's best efforts, we're just going to start pulling away as we cross the finish line. By the way, today's video just over 1 hour, including the after career look in the shed, so I'm spoiling a little bit, but yeah, just over an hour. All right. We are now at the star level. 8 furlongs is the bottom, and we've got a double circle for dry turf. So that is one of our strong points. I'm going to go back to Boston and race 9 furlongs in the Cosmos Stakes. Is that named after the New York Cosmos? Fans of Pele will know what I'm talking about. Maybe. It seems so long ago that Pele was playing for the New York Cosmos. Who probably stopped being a team like 3 or 4 years after he stopped playing for him. I would look that up, but we're not talking about soccer. I find it extremely boring to watch. And I say that as someone who played soccer through college. Exceedingly boring to watch. I have no interest in watching soccer. If someone was like, hey, do you want to go watch a single A baseball game or a professional soccer championship, I would be like, when's the single A baseball game start? Let's go watch that. Let's go watch a grade 3 stakes race. Anything but soccer. Alright, so there is rough on this track. We're trying to stay out of the rough. We're way in the back, but we're overheating when we try to speed up. So we've got to turn the speed back down. We do have the first part of the revolutions.
They're midway down the back stretch.
I think I only actually got close to the revolution one time during this horse's entire racing career. So read into that whatever you want. You're watching a video, so it must have been successful in some way, correct? Right. So, all right, getting near the end. We're going to go to the whip here at 2.4 and straight to the front again and leaving everybody in the absolute dust. I think this is probably the last OC race I can run at this point because I'm just blowing the field away, obliterated, except for the number 7 who came on very late. Too late to do anything. That's for sure.
We have a winner!
All right. Cabana Boy, another win by 9 furlongs. And I think we hit our bet as well. And that was on bad turf. Raining. I think the turf surface was rated as good. Looking at the card, we've got a triangle for the bad turf or yielding turf. We prefer clockwise racetracks. I think I'm gonna race Miami, maybe. I don't like the looks of that grade 2. Oh, we'll go back to, I think I'll go back to Boston, do the Harvard Stakes, the grade 3. Nope, never mind. The Mallow Stakes. That's the other half of a marshmallow. All right, we're an overwhelming favorite, less than 1-1 to win the race outright. So we'll do our exacta 7.5, a whopping 5.4-1.
The horses are in the gate.
All right, here we are. I don't think I've ever raced the Mallow Stakes before.
And away they go. That was a great start.
All right, I'm trying to stay out of trouble here. Going a little too fast. Have to dial that back a little bit.
Okay, this is where the race is won.
Fast pace for this race. We are in the blue. Racing in the blue. Actually, I'm going to bite my tongue. We came close to the Revolutions twice. Now, I tried to hit it here, so we got it at 2.3, and it did not work. We did not get the blue Revolutions. But the only time I've gotten it, I've whipped, and the whip fell at 2.3. So that's what I was trying to replicate there. Anyway, we are cruising to victory.
Excellent.
And yeah, basically, red Revolutions, odd fractions,
We have a
blue
winner.
Revolution, in my opinion, or sorry, reverse that. Blue Revolution, odd fractions, and the red Revolutions, even fractions. Just my opinion. All right, no cash exchanged hands there, except for when I gave them money to lose the race. All right. Speed 88, staying 84. Not too shabby. Do the Bush Stakes. We could try Atlantic City, which is a grade 3. All right, counterclockwise. We'll just see what happens there. And we are on the rail, and we are the favorite, less than 1-1 odds. So really meaty, 4.4-1 for our exacta.
The horses are in the gate.
All right, the Atlantic City Stakes, 9 furlongs in Washington, D.C. I don't know if they have any big tracks in New Jersey.
And they're off.
New York has a ton of
Oh,
racetracks.
it's a late start.
I don't know about New Jersey, though. They probably used to, and they were probably shut down. Monmouth, maybe? Now that I think about it. All right, that start was terrible. All right, Monmouth is in Oceanport, New Jersey. And their marquee event is called the Haskell Invitational. We'll talk more about the Haskell Invitational in a minute.
5 furlongs to
Way
go.
behind everybody here. We do have the first part of the revolutions. I'm speeding up to try to close the ground. We're going to have to whip very early here to close this up. Maybe at like 3, 2.7, something like that. I should have already whipped, to be
They're
honest.
in the home stretch.
I don't know what I was waiting for. Alright, look at that special ability
2
spurt.
furlongs to go.
We're blazing to the front.
Wow,
And we're
terrific
just going to
speed.
overcome everybody next to us and get the victory. Not as good as last to first. Spurt, it seemed to me
We
like
have
to
a
get
winner.
Spurt to trigger, you had to be in the back and you had to pass most of the field. It did not work for me any other way. So we set the track record 144 and 9. And we got the straight assault comment. And we also won some money. Alright, we're now at the star level. Speed 89, staying 85, stamina 74, response 77, 8 to 13 furlongs. Only a turf horse who likes clockwise tracks. And the special ability of spurt. Alright, we're going to go for the Young Crown Cup back to Miami. 8 furlongs on the turf. Well, so that's what I mean. I set out to breed a horse that was good at dirt and turf, and I just got another turf horse. However, I didn't want to start over again, so we're just going to continue the career, and maybe I can get something with this horse, and we'll just see. Because it does seem like it can be strong under the right circumstances. So we're going to carry on with the career of Cabana Boy. And we're going to race in the Young Crown Cup, the gateway to Grade 1 racing for a young colt. All right, there we are. And there is the rest of the field.
The horses are on the track.
And I hate to say it, but with a horse that runs in the back,
And
you
away
really
they
don't
go.
want a perfect start. However, I've found that when I try not to get a perfect start, I start getting them. So whatever technique you use, you don't want to start badly. But yeah, you want to avoid really good starts with a horse that is a horse that likes to run from the rear of the pack. All right, first part of the revolutions, again, the story of my life here with this horse. And now we're overheating, and so we're just trying to get back down into the green. This horse didn't have a lot of green area. A lot of it was blue.
Okay, this is
And
where
as
the
you
race
can
is
see,
won.
puts us in a different position than we want to be in. Want to be a little bit further to the back, but at the same point, we don't want the field to leave us. So we're going to go to the whip at 2.4.
2 furlongs
Right
to
to
go.
the front, the 9 is coming with us. I think that's the 9. Or the 8. Pardon me, that's the 8 horse. Anyway, fading. And the 11 is coming up. We're going to win. Going away in the Uncrowned Cup.
We have a winner.
I'm the 9 horse. Yes, the 9 did really well. All right, there we are, victorious, and we got paid. And I think I may have made back the money I spent breeding this horse and entering it into racing. All right, 62 power, that's not fantastic. And I can't tell what the growth interval for this horse is. It could be sustained or it could be normal. I'm hoping it's not normal, because I think what I want to try to do is one of the horse titles where you get 5 wins at the special grade 1 at 12 furlongs and above. Here's the Gallop World Series. We didn't do anything in here. So those are just names you can read. We did win the 2-year-old colt and picked up 1,000 Gs. All right, so here in the Australia Stakes, 6 furlongs on a rainy, yielding track. We'll get our bet in for the exacta 20.2 to 1. And we individually are 3.2 to 1. I like racing on the... If you had a horse like this and you wanted to race more of these short races, I really don't like the Australia Stakes because it has 2 turns. I really like the ones over in London and the UK because they have just usually a straight shot. And I prefer that when I'm stepping down to a short race with a horse that isn't really meant to sprint. I prefer those short racetracks because then you don't have to do any turning and you can concentrate on, you know, racing in your pack position and so on and so forth.
The horses are on the track.
All right. That is the kind of start we want to get.
And away they go.
Good, but not great. And as you can see, we're going to be able to slide to the rear. And I thought about going over the rail, and yes, I'm going to go over the rail, and I think this is a mistake. I like it when the horse in front moves over, and that can't happen because he has another horse right in front of him. And we get a mixed up revolution thing. We got a red start and a blue middle, and now we whipped way too late. And basically this is not going to be good enough. Horse doesn't get special ability spurt to go. We had to maneuver again. And we're just not going to do well enough here. I think we finished 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah, that's terrible. So why don't... That's a bad start to racing in this year. So why don't we retry that one? That being said, I only think there's a handful of retries in this one. Maybe like 3 total. So... All right, let's try that again. Maybe we don't go to the rail this time.
And away they go.
All right, so we're just going to move over a little bit. I just remembered, you know, hey, this is an 8 to 13 furlong horse. We're running in a 6 furlong race. I can afford to not save all the ground. You know what I mean? This horse can run a longer race, so let's not do that. I think I'm in a pretty good spot right here as long as that hole doesn't close up. Again, we get the red start and the blue middle. We'll go to the whip at 2.4, and we're going to cut right through the pack here. And I'm working the reins very hard. We nose ahead, and we're going to start pulling away from the field, and we're on to victory. All right, there we go. Nice win.
We have a winner.
All right, just think if we had been betting on a replay, we would have won some money. All right, we are now at superstar level. Speed 91, courage 90, feel is just 61, and explains why I'm always in either overheating or in the blue. So I'm looking at these horse titles, and I just don't think we have the stamina to pull that one off, the King of Europe. So we're going to go for this long champ. 5 wins in special G1 turf, 12 furlongs and up. The one below our box, the Stayer, that's 12.5, so we'll save that for another horse that can run 14, 18, 16 furlongs. Not this horse. I am going to go at some point into that thing, and I'm not going to like what it says. Alright, we're not old enough to race any of those races. And I really don't want to race a lower classification race at this point because we're in our superstar era. I don't think I have enough stamina to race these 2000G races. I really don't. So I don't want to do that. Remember, we have that filled triangle racing interval. Now, if it was a circle or double circle racing interval, then maybe a different combo. But we're going to race the Young Mile Cup just because I just don't think we have the stamina to race in those other races like that. The back-to-back-to-back. That's what those two titles are. The King of Europe and the 2000G titles. It's like you race, you have a week off, you race again, you have a week off, you race a third time. And this horse doesn't have that kind of stamina, in my opinion. So we're going to skip that. Save that for a different horse. All right, Young Mile Cup, 8 furlongs in DC, 1:31.3 is the course record. And we're Big Dummy. That's the name of the horse. That's funny. Let's take a look at the field here.
The horses are on the track.
Oh, a perfect start.
And away they go.
Oh.
That was a great start.
One of the breedings that I did that didn't work out, I'm going to try to do it again.
Watch out.
Basically, I bred a horse that is a front-running horse. Let's just say in the future we might do that one again. It was super entertaining. It had a skill called the whip. Basically, you whip the horse out of the gate and it takes off like a bat out of hell. I mean, occasionally you'll see the computer doing that. You know, the horse is way ahead of everyone else.
This is where the race is won.
That's basically, and then this horse also had start dash at the same time. So if you did a perfect start and then hit the whip, it would have a huge lead. But then you got to hold off the other horses. All right, here's Spurt. We're going to go right to the front, clear sailing, and we're going to blaze our way to victory. When it works, it just works, and it's so much fun. And that's what's happening here, obliterating the field again. Yeah, really fun when that all works out just like that.
Incredible! No one can match you.
And that was the Young Mile Cup, a 13-furlong victory. It said bad on the stretch. What are you smoking bad on the stretch? There was no one else on the stretch. That's how fast I was. All right. 93 speed, 92 courage. Braking, feel, not great. Yeah, see, look, they're just too close together, you know. So let's race these 12 furlong races that we see. I think I am going to go look at the horse titles and stuff like that. But I'm going to end up racing these 12 furlong races. Starting perhaps with the Britain Derby. All right, looking at the King of Europe. That's all different distance races. Don't have the stamina for 2000 Gs. We already missed the Washington Derby, I believe. So we can't do that. And Gallop Racer requires a dirt race, so we're just going to stick to our original plan. Oh, there's the Washington Derby. I guess I could race it. But I just raced. Yeah. It was tempting. It was tempting, but I think I'm going to go with these 12 furlong races. So we'll go for the Britain Derby. Maybe if I hadn't raced in that race right then, I would have attempted it. But again, this horse doesn't have that kind of stamina. So, like that Paris GP, I don't know about any of this stuff because it's either too close. Our horse is going to be in the black after these two races in terms of energy. So maybe this New York Turf Stakes, we could race in that. That's a possibility. Big interval there, and I don't like that. And now I'm changing my mind. We're going to go back and look at all these again because I can't leave well enough alone. I'm not interested in doing a 10 furlong race. Certainly not interested in doing 2 of them or 3 of them. So this roadmap thing doesn't always give you great racing advice. Here there's a huge gap, 4th week of April to the 4th week of July. I wouldn't recommend taking that much time off unless you're trying to achieve a specific goal. But that being said, we're going to have a lot of time off because we're looking for certain distance races in this horse's year, third year of racing. So again, I just don't have the stamina to do the 2000 G King. At least not in my opinion, I don't. So, tempting, but I'm not going to do that. You've got to breed a horse specifically for those races that has a ton of stamina and can race back to back to back like that. So we're going to skip the Washington Derby because I'm dumb and our horse needs to recover, and we're going to go for this Derby, the Britain Derby, instead. Out of Birmingham. It is a yielding track today. And we're going to get our bet in. Alright, look at that. Oh, this is the uphill track. Yeah, from the start up into where these other tracks merge in, that's uphill. We don't really do those kind of tracks for thoroughbred racing. They do them for steeplechases and stuff like that, but normally our racing tracks are flat when it comes to the turf races and stuff like that. So maybe that's a European thing. I don't know. There is one track where it has that little hill in it. San Francisco, of course, that track is actually closed. So I don't know if the hill actually existed. Not that it was a big one. But in a second here, you're going to see this thing literally goes up a hill, and we don't do that in our racetracks. Not for thoroughbred racing here in North America. So, I mean, granted, if you're doing steeplechase, different story, because that has obstacles and stuff like that, so they probably have hills, but that's not a sport I follow at all. We're just concerned about speed, you know. Alright, here the track levels out. You can see the rail had like a little railing effect there from the hill. So, and then this, to me, looks like a long sweeping that's slightly going downhill. That's the impression that I get from this track. So whether that's actually true or not, I have no idea. But that's the impression I get from looking at this, is that, especially right here, that we're starting going down a hill, like we started going up the hill. You can see we're overheating. We don't have a lot of green left. I'm trying to keep the horse out of the yellow because we're still getting green, but on the other hand, I'm also using green when we're in the yellow, and I really don't want that. We do have the first part of the revolutions. We're going to get most of our green meter filled, so I'm not really disappointed. In fact, we may get all of it filled, which is really kind of shocking. seeing as we were overheating like crazy at one point. But we're not going to get the revolutions. It's closed out, so third one doesn't really matter. Alright, 2.4. We should be whipping. What are we not whipping for? Let's go to the whip.
To go.
We take an initial lead. The 9 is on the outside and he's getting froggy, and I'm going to use the whip a little bit more right here at the end, and we eke out a victory in the Birmingham Stakes.
We have a winner.
All right.
You
That was
reached the
called the
horse
Britain
title
Stakes.
race.
Horse title reached. G1 Hunter. Britain Derby, pardon me. All right, we set the course record 2:32 and 4, and we beat the next horse by half a length. And I hate to say it, I think this is a normal growth interval. Right here is where I realized, because I'm like, we didn't get any uptick in speed, and so that would mean to me that we have stopped growing almost. You can see it's not fully complete, but we are close to the apex of this horse's ability. All right, Dublin Derby, we're going to try that one too. And then we got the Paris GP, but I don't think we're going to have enough energy for that. So let's enter that race. Boy, I really have to wonder if I can go to the real horse track on Saturdays. If this move pans out, I'm going to be going to either Belterra or Turfway Park every weekend, so I may not want to play this game anymore, you know? The real thing's going to be right there. We'll see. All right, Dublin Derby, another course with a big sweeping turn, and then a pretty good straightaway. So here is a look at the field. Some of these horses we've definitely raced against before.
The horses are on the track.
Go!
All right, I was hoping that we could get a little bit better start than that. I was waiting, push the button on the start thing, but it didn't work. Anyway, we're going to make our way over to the rail. I just get the feeling when I look to my left, and I guess that's the fans out there. I'm like, do they even charge them to show up? Because they're so far out there. Where are the concessions at? How are they supposed to get money off those people if there's no concessions? Maybe there's concessions like in amongst those groups. All right, we did get the first part of the revolution. My horse appears to be running very fast in that little green circle, though. I don't like that at all. And then it's a slow pace. That makes me think I'm doing something wrong as a jockey. But we're in a good track position, I think. So we're just going to keep riding, see what happens.
5 furlongs to go.
Now we're in the blue and we're trying to speed back up. Because now we are last. We're almost last. And I don't think we should be there. Now we're really last. So where am I going to whip? 2.4? 2.7. Alright, spurt kicks on. I'm going to try to squeeze through. We bumped and lost our spurt. And we just go crazy because of the whip.
Wow, terrific speed.
We're just going to use the reins and go back to the whip, and we're going to squeeze out a victory there. Yep. Even though I messed that one up, the horse has enough ability to pull that off.
We have a winner. Yes. that.
So G1
Horse title
Hunter
earned.
in the bag. Good job, horse. All right, I'd be willing to bet this horse is at the apex of its skills right now. Straight assault again on the comments. Let's go look at the horse card. No energy whatsoever. We're in the black. 95 speed, 95 tenacity, 95 courage, and I believe 91 staying. So we're going to have to skip a lot of racing in order to get back to the blue. A lot of racing. All right, we do the New York Turf Stakes, but I want to do the Paris Cup instead because it's got that red line, and that is a Gallup World Series race. And then after that, I guess we can do the World Cup Turf. So that's my plan. I don't know how good of a plan it is, but that's my plan. So we're going to do the Paris Cup, and then we're going to do the other race, whatever race that was. And then we'll need one more 12 furlong race to get that horse title. All right, we are a slight favorite by 0.2 of a point over Prime Colony. It was a 5-year-old horse. And I can't remember one, but I can tell you that when I was betting Saratoga a lot, there was a horse that had won like the 5-star Dave handicap or something, like 3 or 4 years in a row. It was like a 7 or 8-year-old horse. You know, so there are some horses that do get stronger when they're older. Not every horse is great at 2 or 3 years old. Now, granted, that horse fell off a cliff, I think, after he turned 8 in terms of his ability. But it was like, this is the last time the horse is going to run the race, and he won it again. So, you know, I mean, what they're showing you here in the game in some instances is actually real life. There probably aren't a lot of horses that get better when they get older like that, but there are some.
The horses are on the track.
All right, here we go. Just the kind of start we want to get here.
Go!
We're going to go over to try to find the rail. A little less risky in Europe, I'll say that, than in North America. Just wait until we run that 20 furlong race. You guys are going to be bored out of your skulls. I think at the very least we run, or it's on like some French estate or something like that. So there's a chateau that we run by or something. But yeah, that 20 furlong race, and there's no horse that has a 20 furlong ability. So the best you can do is an 18 furlong horse. So I'm going to try to breed for that next. Try to breed a long distance turf horse for those long races over in Europe. All right, there was a little hill right there. We do have the first part of the revolutions. I'm going to speed up because I don't like the idea of being left behind, but I also don't like overheating.
5 furlongs to go.
Back a little bit. We're still in the blue. And I'm trying to maneuver to have room, because this guy ahead of me, the one, is right in the middle, and we are overheating now. We have the second part of the red revolution, and so I just have to hit so the whip falls on a even number. And I thought I did, but I did not. But we triggered our special ability, and again, we were blocked
Show
here.
your guts!
And so we're just going to use the reins and the whip to kind of get our nose in front. And our horse still has enough drive to finish that one off. So again, imperfect finish, but the ability of the horse carried the day right there.
We have a
And we
winner.
are in line for a horse
You've
title.
reached the horse title race.
Called Gallop Racer, which we can't get unless the heavens and earth opened up, because you have to win a dirt race to win that. You have to win the Paris Cup and the Universal Cup. And I believe the Universal Cup is a Dubai dirt race, and so we're not going to do that. It's 8.8 furlongs. So, no. All right, skills are already going down. 94 speed, so we have surpassed the apex of this horse's ability. I'm just going to show you. Yep, there it is, Universal Cup. We can't get that one. All right, we need a 12 furlong race. All right, there it is, World Cup turf. Let's get it. And then that's very late in the year, so I don't know what we're going to get after that. All right, we are a favorite, not by a lot, but enough. And look at this box trifecta here. I decided to bet 13, 9, and 10. If that came in at 138 to 1, huge payday. Yep. Yep, we'll see. All right, we're here at Churchill Downs for the World Cup turf. And here's a look at the field. All right, we're on the far
The horses
outside.
are on the track.
Go!
So we're definitely going to try moving over. Got the hedgerow there. So we're going to move all the way over to the hedgerow. And the one moved over a little bit, but he didn't move over enough, so I'm not sure I can actually fit through there. Like, it looks like there's room, but the game wouldn't let me go through there. So, I'm not necessarily happy about that. And now we're closing up, so getting around him may be a little bit more challenging. We do have the first part of the Red Revolutions. Under 6 furlongs now. If he had moved out a little bit there, I would have stayed right here.
They're midway down the back stretch.
I'm very iffy about if this is going to work right now. It is not guaranteed the computer's horse will move over. All right, second part of the Revolutions. I guess I just didn't notice that or whatever. I thought I got it at the right time, but I did not.
Go. Show your guts.
Now we're not going to do very well. We end up finishing second, I think.
Finish.
Yep. But the one horse ran the race of its life, and so I said to myself, we got to retry that. Yep, he set the course record. All right, second. I think this is the second race we've retried. All right, blaze through the
The
field.
horses are on the track.
not perfect start. And again, we're just gonna move over straight to the rail. Overheating a little bit, we're gonna try and slow it down. But as you can see with this one, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I'm gonna have to move up and then go around him to get by. And we do get by him. We do have the first part of the revolutions. I think we're going to get the second part though. And then now, much to my chagrin, we're passing him. And instead of being in the right position for the pack, we're in the wrong position.
Down the back stretch.
So when that triggers, I am probably not going to get the red X. I'm going to get something else altogether. And we do. So the revolutions are out. We are contesting the lead, which is not how this horse should run. So I'm going to let them get in front of me and then go to the whip.
2 furlongs to go. They're in the home stretch.
And it's us and the 9 and the 10. And I am trying to close ground desperately.
Show your guts.
And I just can't do it.
Finish.
So in the retry, we would have actually won that box trifecta 9, 10, 13. And it would have been tremendous odds. But we lost the race. So because of the retry, we didn't redo the bet. So I'm not going to replay that. And now we're up against it in terms of our energy. We're zeroed out on energy. So trying to find another 12 furlong race. Get the China Vase here. We're going to race in that race out in Hong Kong. And in theory, that will put us in line for the horse title. If we hadn't lost the race you just saw, we'd be racing for the horse title right now, which was the original plan. We are clearly the favorite because this race, the special race without the Gallop World Series, is not at the same level. So basically think of it like Field of Dreams is the highest level, Gallop World Series is the next level, special category race G1 is the next level, then the regular G1, and then G2, G3, OC. That's basically how that works in my opinion. So here we are in Hong Kong for the China Vase. I wouldn't be shocked if the Chinese government had shut down this racetrack. Decadent Westerners betting on horse racing. Why would you bet on horse racing? You could eat the horses. Now, I'm not saying Chinese people eat horses. I heard they eat dogs. But that's probably North Korea. Anyway, I've been to Southeast Asia. I've never eaten knowingly never eaten a dog. So there's that. All right, look, see that guy to our left? He had that whip skill I'm talking about. He came out of there like a shot. All right, we are not going to try to get to the rail. I made that decision. We're just going to stay out in the open.
Watch out.
And I tried to get around to the outside of that guy, and I can't do it, so we'll just go on the inside. And as you can see, we really are better than the rest of the field because we're just going to start creeping up on everybody, even though I'm really not trying to. And now we're in fourth. Oh, I don't know why I said Taco Mac. That doesn't make any sense. Alright, now we're third. And we're closing in on second place.
5 furlongs longs to go.
And number 9 horse is in the lead. And we're going to pass the 4 horse right now. And, oh, maybe not. He sped back up. We're going to cut inside. And we're going to go to the whip here in 2.4.
They're in the home stretch.
There it is. No revolutions of any
2
sort.
furlongs to go. Show
All
your
right,
guts.
we're up against it. Can we chase down the 4 horse? Going back to the whip.
An amazing burst
The
of
reins,
speed.
the whip, the reins, the whip, the reins. Can we get this victory? Yes! I think we can. Oh boy, that's a photo
We
finish if
have
I
a
ever saw
winner.
one.
You've reached the horse title
Horse
race.
title reached. Long champ is up for grabs. No photo. Amazing. We won by a neck and set a track record. So Cabana Boy still has a little bit left in the tank. All right. And no energy. All right. Speed 93, tenacity 92, courage 95. It ended up being a normal growth interval for this horse, and we are definitely on the downslope. The first race we'll be able to race, that's 12.5 furlongs. It's going to be right here in Dubai. It's going to be the Climax Stakes. There you can see the Universal Cup is actually 10 furlongs on the dirt, so we could not win the Gallop Racer title with this horse as it came out. It was intended to race for that kind of race, but the breeding didn't work out. We finished 4th in the Gallop World Series on turf, and we did not get any kind of special award whatsoever. So, really disappointing, but it is what it is. All right, here in the Climax Stakes, we are the favorite. Fast and firm rated track. Let's get our bet in. Dubai has always been pretty good to me, so I'm hoping we can close it out with a victory here for Cabana Boy. Yep, not the breeding did not turn out the way I wanted it to, but it was not, in theory, not a total loss if we can pull off this horse title. So it is what it is. You know, you can't always dictate the outcome of the breeding. Sometimes the breeding spits out a horse you had no idea that it was going to be any good and stuff like that. So other times you breed thinking, hey, this horse is great at turf. This horse is great at turf. This horse should be fantastic at turf. And something happens in the
It's a beautiful night for racing.
genetic family tree there, and you get something totally different. So
Go!
all right, here we go. We're at a good start. Going to start moving over. Under the lights here in Dubai. Probably got that Dubai chocolate going on. I don't see what all the fuss is about, but just forget I said that. All right, in the green. I don't love our positioning, but if we get spurt, it won't matter. But this horse, the 1, is not going to move out of our way, so we're going to have to veer around him. And our horse is a little too fast because we're mid-pack now and kind of moving up, and we're running in the blues. That shouldn't really be happening, but I guess not everybody wanted to fly out to Dubai. So we took a step down maybe in quality. We're now in like 4th
5
place
furlongs to go.
and moving up on number 3, and this is a bad sign. Energy bar is basically maxed. We're not going to get the revolutions around the last turn. And we're on the straightaway.
They're in the home stretch.
And everybody starts passing me. So we go to the whip at 2.4. And I have to say, I think I went too early. The 11 comes with us. And we're going back to the whip.
Show your
And
guts.
I'm just not going to have enough. I'm going to get past. by
Look
the
out,
4
they're
horse.
coming up from behind. Finish!
And so we end up
My
finishing
goodness,
3rd.
they've lost their chance at the title.
Not what I wanted to happen. And the 4 set a course record. That looks terrible. So we will replay this race. So I think just our 3rd replay for this horse. But that race did not go the way I wanted it to at all. All right, there's the field, of course.
It's a beautiful night for racing.
Pretty much about the start you want to get here.
That was a beautiful start.
You're going to instantly start moving over. Again, the 1 is off doing his thing. We're trying to speed up just a little bit so we don't get left by the field. But I think by doing this, the spurt just wasn't working anywhere other than the one you had to pass most of the field. So it's probably not going to work now. And again, we're in like 4th place already. So we're not racing against the fastest horses. I'll just say that. This might be a grade 1 race, but the best horses didn't show up for this one because they're racing a Gout World Series race instead. All right, under 6 furlongs, we are in 3rd place. We nose in front
5 furlongs to go.
of 6 horse. We are approaching 2nd place as we nose in front of 7 horse. And now the only horse ahead of us is the 1 horse. And we're going to go around the turn and nose in front
They're
of
in
the
the
1
home
horse. And then we're going to go to the whip at 2.4.
2 furlongs to go.
And the 11 started to come. The 1 is coming. We're going to move
Show your
over just a
guts.
little bit and be a dickhead.
Look out,
Using
they're
the
coming
reins
up from
hard.
behind. Finish!
Oh. I don't know. Did we get caught? Oh my god. Look at that photo win. Yes. Oh,
And the
inquiry all you
winner
want.
is
I'll take the
you.
win. That's right.
Yes.
Horse title earned,
Horse
long
title
champ.
earned.
In the books at Dubai. Little controversy, never hurt anybody. And I'm not going to press my luck anymore with this horse. We're going to retire. So the breeding didn't turn out the way I wanted, but all in all, I think Cabana Boy had a pretty good career. I'm not saying that's a horse worth breeding to anything, but certainly wasn't worth throwing away. So, as you can see, the courage kept going up, but we are going to retire with 1 earned star, the 1 new horse title. And that's that. So let's go into the theme park. We're going to save our game. And while we're doing that, next time I'm really going to try to breed a long running turf horse, long distance wise, so to speak, so we can go after that. Those 14, 16, 18, 20 furlong races over in Europe. Get that horse title out of the way. The other option is maybe breeding a horse that is better later in its career and trying to finish off the last normal classification horse title, which means I have to be good at turf and win the summer and winter GP. I think it's a total of 6 times. So let's go peek really quickly at Cabana Boy in the breeding shed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. Leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. As we look at Cabana Boy's breeding card, again, not very impressive, but we all knew that. Yeah, so it's just a horse, good enough to keep, not bad enough to throw out. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.